Welcome. In today's video, we are basically trying to understand what is the concept of inductance and how it can be extended to understand self-inductance and mutual inductance. So basically, inductance is a physical value which is measurable. So when I say inductance, it is better to know which is the physical object or which is the physical circuit which is going to give me this value of inductance. So basically, as you know, inductance is obtained from inductor. So now, why inductance becomes a topic of discussion in our subject? That's what we need to understand. We have already seen that when a current carrying conductor is kept somewhere, it is going to produce magnetic field. So I am just considering a straight current carrying conductor. So this is carrying current in some direction. Okay, let me take it in this direction. So it's carrying some current I. It is able to carry current I because I have connected this to some source. Okay, if this is A end and the other thing, okay, this is B end of this conductor. A and B are different potentials. That's why a current flows. Yeah. So just assume, I just want you to assume that, okay, this is connected to a battery. Okay, basically I'm talking about DC current. So current is flowing. Now when current is flowing like this, you know that it's going to create magnetic field, and magnetic field is going to be radially around it, right? Because we are going to follow the right hand thumb rule to find magnetic field. So all this field. So we are going to have magnetic field around this conductor, and that is fine. Now the same straight conductor, what I am going to do is, instead of allowing it to be straight, I am going to spiral bind it. In the sense, I am going to bend this straight conductor. Okay, hope I have enough conductor with me. Okay, length of conductor with me. So I am going to coil it or bend it like this. This conductor, instead of maintaining it to be a straight line conductor, I am just going to bend it something like this. It's okay. Please remember, this is same conductor A to B, and this conductor is made to carry the same current I. Then what happens? What about this magnetic field now? Will it be same like this? In the sense, will it be spiral around this conductor? That's the question. The answer is no, but it's important to know why it is no. You know that I have drawn this magnetic field around the conductor following a basic thumb rule. So now listen carefully. In this particular coil, at any point, at some point, okay, some point here, or some point here, okay, the current is flowing like this, okay, like this, coming here, flowing like this, okay, top here, okay, at this point here, everywhere the current is changing its direction. Getting what I'm trying to convey? At every point on this coil, okay, spiral coil, the current is changing its direction. So what does it tells you now? So if you are basically following the right hand thumb rule, at every point your magnetic field is going to have its own direction. or basically the magnetic field will not be now spiral like this around the conductor. Uniformly distributed spiral field is not possible now. So basically there will be magnetic field lines changing its direction at every point, if you trace at every point based on the direction of the current. I hope that is very clear what I am trying to convey, right? At every point on this, the current is, you can imagine, current is flowing spirally. So the magnetic field also will go, use the thumb rule, so the current should be in the direction of your thumb, and magnetic field will be your remaining fingers, direction of folding of your fingers. So can you imagine? So it is going to have different directions at every point on this coil. Or in other terms, technically we say that the magnetic field is going to link, L-I-N-K, the magnetic field is going to link each and every coil. It is going to link each and every coil, or we call it as each and every turns. Because this entire thing, structure can be called as a coil, and each spiral thing can be called as a turn, because it's a turning. Right? So each turn the magnetic field is going to link, or basically I can say that magnetic flux, phi m, magnetic flux is going to link for every turn. In the sense, no more the magnetic field will be around the conductor, magnetic field will be through the conductor now, because it is going to link with each coil. It has to, because current is changing its direction at every instant, flowing through these turns of the coil. So at every instant the magnetic field has to follow the thumb rule. So it is going to rotate as the current goes in the turn. So in the sense, you will have the magnetic field in and around each turn, linking with that, around each turn, linking with it. So it is necessary so when I draw it on the plane of the paper, it is difficult to draw three-dimensional linking of flux, magnetic flux or field with the coil. So conventionally, when you have a conductor like this with this many turns, some turns, we usually draw, I'll just redraw it. We usually draw the field as if it is linking all these coils, linking all these coils like this. The field is taking some shape like this. This is something like equivalent magnetic field line, something like that you can call it. And there is, don't forget that there is a straight part of this conductor also, continuing. So I will have flux lines going straight also, in the sense it has to go around, right? Going around. So it will come out like this, then go around. So it will come out like this, some in direction, come like this. So my B vector, which is nothing but magnetic field strength vector, will be something like this. So that is how, or that is why we draw magnetic field, or we represent magnetic field lines vertically going around when we consider a conductor shaped like a coil. Once we understand this, our interest was inductor. But now you know that when you have a wire carrying, or a conductor carrying current, and if you can spiral bind that conductor, right, spiral bound that conductor like a coil with fixed number of turns, then the magnetic field is going to link with each turn of that coil, and we represent these magnetic field lines as shown in the figure, right, later figure, this figure. Now this is basically an inductor. A wire or conductor of certain length when twisted into a coil, becomes a basic inductor. An inductor with air as the core. Because I have done this twisting, this turning in free air, if so, then I have a basic inductor. We call it as a basic inductor because the core, that is the axis of this inductor, is free air. So we call it as a basic inductor. Okay. Now, since this is an inductor, okay, producing magnetic field, this will lead to, or this is going to produce something known as self-inductance. So self-inductance is basically a physical quantity which will be produced if and only if, okay, a conductor has magnetic field linking with it. That's why we always explain it with an inductor, in the sense a conductor with some turns which becomes a basic inductor. So since we get inductance as a property of basic inductor, we call it as inductance. And the inductance is produced by itself. I'm just changed the physical shape of this conductor and it is producing some new physical quantity. So it is producing that physical quantity by itself. So we call it as self-inductance. So next we have to look into what is self-inductance. For explaining further self-inductance, I am going to consider this figure. Okay, this figure was lifted from some textbook, okay, standard textbook. So we are going to consider a closed path. Okay, so whatever I explained was also a closed path. I told you, right, this will be connected to a battery. So I am now showing the battery source. This is plus minus. So current will flow in this direction. So I have current flowing in this direction. So this is my that long conductor formed, okay, twisted like a coil. So this is basically now acting as a inductor carrying current. Okay, so this voltage, for reference you can consider that this is plus 12 volt or plus 10 volt, something like that. Okay, and this is having so many turns. I say that this is having n number of turns, okay, capital N number of turns. So I have a coil or an inductor, okay, supplied with battery with n number of turns. Now the flux produced by the magnetic field will link with each turn of the circuit as I explained just now. Okay, now coming to the term inductance, our interest is to define inductance. Okay, now to know that I have to explain the flux linking with the turns. So I can call the flux linking with the turn, okay, can be called as flux linkage. Okay, flux linking with the turns can be called as flux linkage. Okay, flux linking with turns is flux linkage. So the flux linkage is defined as the product of number of turns and total flux linking each of the turn. And this flux linkage is given by some term lambda. It is denoted by lambda. What is flux linkage? Flux linkage lambda is product of number of turns, that is capital N for me here, okay, and total flux linking. So total flux if I take is a phi, okay, phi m if you can take to be specific of magnetic flux. Phi we indicate for electric flux. So N phi m will give me the total flux linkage. So it depends upon N, that is total number of turns. If total number of turn is 10, then 10 times the flux. If N is 2, 2 times the flux. So that is my total flux linkage. So once I have the total flux linkage, I can easily define the term inductance. Okay, now here you see the flux linking with each turn will be proportional to current flowing through the circuit. You should not forget that, because all this process, in the sense this flux, is created due to the current flowing through the circuit. So the flux linking, since it is depending upon phi m, the value of phi m depends on value of current. So in turn, you should remember that in your back of mind, that flux linking with each turn is proportional to current flowing through the coil. Yeah. Now, if I take the ratio of total flux linkage, that is lambda, to the current flowing through the circuit, then I get inductance. So, inductance is defined as the ratio of total flux linkage, that is nothing but lambda, divided by current flowing through that circuit. Since it's a closed path, we call it as a circuit. So, lambda by I is my inductance. So, lambda is nothing but turns into flux linked. So, N phi M by I. This is my inductance, or I better call it as self inductance, and it is denoted by capital L. Capital L. So, the unit of this can be, so see, phi M is measured in Weber, N is turns. So, on the numerator you have Weber turns, and current is ampere. So, you can measure it as Weber turns per ampere, or inductance is referred to as Henry, the name of the scientist who has proposed or who has discovered what I have just explained you, the effect of coiling the conductor, which produces a new physical quantity, which is a measurable quantity known as inductance. So, the unit of inductance is in his name, so Henry, we call it as Henry. So, this is about self-inductance. So, self-inductance is the ratio of total flux linkage to the current flowing through the circuit. Next, we have to look into what is mutual inductance, or how we are going to explain mutual inductance. The concept of mutual inductance arises from the thought that what will happen if two self-inductive coils are kept next to next. So, we have already seen how we form a closed circuit for generating self-inductance. Now, if we have two different circuits, one with self-inductance L1 and other one with self-inductance L2, and if these two circuits are kept close to each other, as you can see on the screen, I have kept two self-inductive circuits close to each other, both supplied by separate voltage sources producing its own self-inductance. L1 and L2 are not related at all. The first circuit is having its own self-inductance L1, some value, total flux linked by the current flowing through that circuit, okay, lambda 1 by I1 if you want to take it. And the second one is L2, entirely different value, because I2 is going to be different. Based on V2 I will get I2, and based on the resistance of the coil I can calculate I2 also, mathematically speaking, practically speaking, okay. But you need to understand that this I1, okay, these two circuits are independent when they are far, okay, they are considered separately. Now, what I did is I have kept these two self-inductive circuits in vicinity of the other. So, it is found that, okay, the first one is having N1 turns, the second one is having N2 turns, okay, all the values or labelings you please take accordingly. Then what it is found experimentally is these circuits are going to interact magnetically with each other. When I say magnetically interact, the meaning is the magnetic field produced by the first circuit will link with the magnetic circuit or magnetic field produced by the second circuit, and vice versa. Okay. So, now the flux in this case, what I will do is the flux produced by circuit 1, okay, due to the current flowing I1, if I denote it as phi 11, okay, phi 11, I denote the self inductance flux, the flux creating self inductance as phi 11 suffix. As you can see how I labeled in this circuit, phi 11 is the flux produced by itself, and phi 22 is the flux produced by itself for the second circuit. Okay, so that is similar, right? If I have here, I should have here also. Okay, now what I'm trying to say is a part of flux, right, 511 will link with circuit 2. Similarly, a part of this 522 will link the circuit 1. Okay, so the flux linking here produced by itself is going to link with the next coil also and other way also. So I will slightly change the name. If it is linking, the flux which are not linking, I will call it as by itself 511, 522. And if these flux are linking, then see, if the flux produced by first circuit is linking with the second circuit, I call it as 512, and if the other way, I call it as 521. Okay, in this scenario, I can easily define mutual inductance. Mutual inductance is the inductance between these coils, or mutual inductance arises because of the effect of one magnetic field on the other. Okay, so the mutual inductance between two circuits, mutual inductance between these two circuits is defined as the flux linkage of one circuit to the current in other circuit, because basically inductance is defined as the total flux linked by current, linked by current. So that basic definition doesn't change, the basic definition remains same, but here the question is which flux and which current, that's the question. So I can say that M12, that is the mutual inductance due to the second circuit on first circuit, the effect of second circuit on first circuit, I can write it as M12, the total flux linking with number of turns of the first circuit. Okay, so the flux linking is 521. Okay, the flux produced by the second circuit, that is 521, linking with the number of turns of the first circuit, N1 521, divided by who is responsible for 521, that current, who is responsible, I2 is responsible. I2 is responsible for 521, so that current. So if this ratio if I take, I get mutual inductance. Either way, that similarly M21 can be written as N2 is total turns, flux linking with these turns due to the first current, I1. So this way I can get M12 and M21. So these terms are known as mutual inductance, or in general mutual inductance between two circuits, any two circuits can be defined as the flux linkage of one circuit due to the current in other circuit. So in today's video, to summarize, we have seen how can we get an inductor, what is basically a concept of inductance, and why we term it as self-inductance, and why there is a need of understanding mutual inductance. Thank you for watching.